Hi, my name is Grace Shalom Hopkins, and welcome to another episode of Grace Shalom at Home. Today we are covering my number one most frequently asked handmade life question: how do I make my handmade laundry soap? I spend a lot of time talking about how great my laundry soap is. So cheap, it's under $10. It's probably more like under $5. But the first time you make it, you do need to get the box of washing soda and the box of borax, and you don't use all of it. But you know, for fairness, it's definitely under 10. And it cleans through super tough messes like my combat engineer husband's uniforms. And we're talking this bro sometimes. He's like up to his armpits in Hawaiian red dirt sludge. It's bad. It's bad. Like, we're talking come through the laundry room door and take off your clothes and put them directly in the washing machine. Bad. You know? This stuff handles it no problem, and because it's natural, I know exactly what goes into it, and I'm able to control the scent and the strength and the consistency, all the different aspects. So what I've done is I'm going to voice over and walk you through my basic recipe, and I have that written recipe down below, but I'm going to give you a few tweaks on how you can manipulate it after that. So we're going to talk about my base recipe, and then when we're finished with that, I'm going to tell you some modifications. So I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so I am starting with a single block of Fells naphtha and grating it, and I'm just using the regular holes on my grater. It doesn't have to be too fine. You could even chop it into chunks, but the larger the pieces, the more time it will take to melt. So once you have a fine powder, it should look something like this. You can see even though I used the large holes on my cutting board, it's still quite small. So go ahead and put that in a pot of water that is almost boiling, but you don't want it at a rolling boil or you will boil over and you will have a very large soapy mess. Okay, so you're just going to want to give that a stir and continue to stir fairly frequently, not consistently, but frequently until all of those little flakes have melted down. I use an ugali spoon from Kenya, which is just a really big wooden spoon. I find that works really well. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like when it's melted, and you want to just dump in your 1 cup of borax and stir that until it's completely dissolved, because you don't want chunks because that will make your washing liquid inconsistent. Now the borax will cause it to gel slightly. If you've ever made slime, you know that borax likes to gel stuff. So just continue to stir until it's completely liquid. And you can keep it over a low heat, but don't turn the heat up too high or else you'll start to get bubbles and over. Okay, so it should be this consistency when it's melted. And if yours doesn't gel, that's not a big issue. It'll still work. So next you need to add in, I'm using 1.5 cups of washing soda. You can do a cup or you can even do slightly less than a cup. And again, you just want to stir that in until it's completely dissolved. I find the washing soda is harder to dissolve because of the humidity in my area. It clumps. So just keep at it. It will eventually dissolve. You may have to like break the clumps against the side of the bowl with your spoon. But it will eventually dissolve, I promise. Alright, so now you want to fill your 5-gallon buckets with super, super hot tap water, about 1/4 of the way full. And this recipe makes 10 gallons of soap, so I've put half of my hot soap mixture in one and half of my soap mixture in the other one. Now this bucket looks pretty funky because that's the bucket that we just finished. So it's got a bunch of soap gunk on it, but it's the exact same soap, so you can just reuse these without washing it out as long as there's no like spiders and stuff in there. So once you pour it in, you're going to want to stir until you feel like the soap liquid and the hot tap water are completely incorporated together. And I do this with just a little bit of the water to make it easier to stir. You can use a electric mixer here or the spoon like I do. I like the spoon because I just kind of like to play in it. Okay, so I use doTERRA lemon and melaleuca essential oils. I use these both for the scent and for their cleaning properties. Lemon is a citrus, and the citruses are the king of the clean. You probably have gathered that. But this is real citrus. It's not just a fake citrus smell. And then tea tree is really antibacterial and antifungal, which is a benefit when you have a soldier who shares a locker room with many other soldiers. You don't want to bring home any creepy crawlies. Okay, so you just continue to stir that together until you feel confident that it's absolutely blended. The soap, the water, and the oils. And the amount of oils you add varies. Do your own research on that. I usually put like 20 drops of each in mine because I want a light scent rather than something overpowering. So next you just continue to fill these buckets all the way to about a half an inch from the rim with the hottest tap water you can possibly find, and then again stir until they're completely combined. When you're finished stirring, you need to set these aside overnight, at least 12 hours. You don't want to put them in any place that's overly hot or where they could freeze through. So just a normal area in your house. And they will gel delightfully like this. Now, I'm a wimp, so I have trouble stirring through the gel phase, but my husband got me this handy little like paint stirring attachment that I can use. I don't know exactly what it's called, but anyway, it stirs this really well. You just attach it to our regular cordless drill and blitz, and it breaks up those big chunks that you can see. I love this part. This part is a blast because it's so much fun to mess with the gelled soap. So anyhow, once you've broken through the gel, you just divide it into containers, or like I do, I leave it in the buckets. If you put it into containers, then you're going to need to have something that you can shake or mix for the really heavy stuff like the detergent. But for Bean and I's clothes, I just use 1/4 of a cup. And so I can just scoop it from the bucket, and then with that big ugali wooden spoon, I just stir it if it looks like it's gelling. I prefer that personally, but it's all personal preference here. And so once you've gotten this incorporated together once again, you are done, ready to store and use your brand new laundry soap. Congratulations! I don't know if that worked. Anyway, some of the modifications that you can do dry. So when you grate the soap, you can just add all of the ingredients to your food processor and just blitz it until it's a fine powder. Don't try and blitz like the block of soap. I would go ahead and grate it. I mean, maybe if you have like an industrial strength, but I wouldn't want to risk it. Also, it's totally food safe. It's laundry soap. Just rinse your food processor out really well when you're done, and the food processor is going to be super clean. Another thing that you can tweak is when I put them in the big buckets, you can take that concentrate and fill up as many gallon jars as you can halfway, and then add water, all the way back up, and shake those. And some people prefer to be able to shake the pitcher versus having to go ahead and stir the big bucket. For a couple of reasons, I don't do that. Storage wise, it's a lot better for our house to have just the 2 buckets. And I don't have the arm strength to shake the gallon jugs, so I prefer to stir it with a spoon. Another variation is you can boost the washing soda content. You can add in actual baking soda, and you can add in more of the block soap. Those things will all make it a stronger formula, but I find that this formula does plenty fine. You can also decrease them if you have something like baby laundry that you want to be super gentle with. If you want a stain remover, before you add the water into, the dilution step, scoop out as much stain remover as you want, and that ultra concentrated formula is your stain remover. Just smear it on the stain, kind of work it into the fiber and let it sit, and that will really help it out. Another popular thing is my essential oil blend. I talked about the lemon and the tea tree melaleuca. You could put in grapefruit seed extract if you want to boost those hardcore cleaning properties, especially if you have a sickness in your house. Like we had MRSA for a while. Holy moly. That's a whole nother video because we didn't use antibiotics to cure it on me, so that was cool. But I went ahead and each scoop that I put into my machine, I just put a drop of grapefruit seed extract in there just to make sure it was dead on all of our laundry. It probably would have been dead anyway, but just for that extra level of protection, that's what I did. Maybe if you're a nurse or something like that, that's something that you could just go ahead and put in the big bucket. And that's fairly economical. Grapefruit seed extract isn't very expensive. As far as the cleaning oils, you can do like the doTERRA citrus blend, you can do orange, lime, lemon, tea tree, oregano. Those are all really strong antibacterial cleaning oils. You can also layer in scent. So my husband really likes cedars and tree-y, sort of spicy smells, so you can do that as well. And I have left in the description a couple of ideas on blends. Cedar and lemon are a good combination. It's that citrus and that spice. So I hope this helped you out, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comment down below. Have you ever used handmade laundry soap? What is your experience with that? I'm super curious. If you liked this video, hit the like button, and if you are interested in catching more of my handmade journey, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye!